Okay, so this is the BE collection. It is May 9th, 2022. I'm Diane Barrett. I'm here with Sharon Raphael, Dr. Sharon Raphael, to some. And I'd like to ask you, we're just have a conversation. Where were you born?
I was born at Mount Sinai Hospital in Cleveland, Ohio.
So you're a Midwesterner.
Oh, yes.
And your birthday?
May 7th, 1941. So I just turned 81.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
What are your plans for the future?
For the future, I'll just keep going on. Trying to enjoy every day, trying to be helpful in the academic ways and other ways.
We can talk about a little bit more on that later. So how did you get from Cleveland to where you are now?
I was 29 when I left Cleveland, and I applied. I really wanted to move out west. I did get a job at teaching at Cal State Dominguez Hills. I was there. I taught there for 40 years.
Wow.
So yeah, So I looked. My major was sociology, and it was time to get. Cleveland is a very family-oriented place, and there wasn't much. I didn't really know about gay life at that point, but I knew I needed to get out of Cleveland.
Did you go to college in Cleveland?
I did teach. I went to Case Western Reserve for my doctorate, and my studies were in the Cleveland area. My undergraduate degree was from Hiram College, which is a small liberal arts school, 35 miles southeast of Cleveland, and
so do you have siblings?
Farm area. I had an older brother named Alan. He was an architect.
Really?
Yeah, he influenced me a lot in terms. He and his wife are both architects, and they went to the University of Chicago. And nobody in my family had gone to college before, and they had a big influence on me in terms of being, focused on getting into college and being a professional. That was important to them, and they kind of encouraged me to do that. And I did have an aunt who was a lawyer. Well, she lost her license though because of her political activities, but both they and my aunt were big, had a lot to do with the direction I took in my education.
You're a lesbian?
My aunt?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a interesting question. She was a single woman. In that back in the day, they didn't really talk about sexual orientation, and my parents don't know either. They asked me if she was a lesbian. I really don't know exactly, but I think my brother and sister-in-law thought she was. They visited her once, and she was living in an apartment with another woman, and they shared a bedroom, according to them.
The facts are.
But I don't know. They seem to think so. But there were other. I don't know how much that was true, or to what degree, or how she defined herself. She certainly never told me, but we were very close. She really, especially when I was a child, she lived with us. My aunt lived with us for quite a few years until the McCarthy era came along. And she had to get out of Cleveland.
because of her politics?
went to New York. They were all from New York City, the family.
How about your parents? Did they know you were a lesbian?
Yeah, my parents. Did they know I was a lesbian? Is that the question? Well, I told them. I came out with them one time when I was working on finishing my dissertation. I did go back with my partner at the time. Well, I'm a partner of 40. I mean, she was my wife of 45 years. But anyway, we were together maybe 5-6 years when I went back with her and came out. And my mother didn't want my father to know. And she kind of had a nervous breakdown.
Really?
And we left. We got out of there. It was a very traumatic thing. And they never really accepted it.
Are you in a relationship now? Are you currently?
Yeah, we're married. Jenny and I are married.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been married 5 years. Or
So-
4.5, something like that.
What does legal marriage mean to you?
Well,
Since it's being threatened.
to me, it's security, economic security. I'm not big on the ritual stuff. I wanted to make sure Jenny'd be okay. And I'm older. I'm not a lot. I mean, she's 73 and I'm 81, and you never know. But I just wanted to make sure she'd be fine. And that's how I kind of, we were in love. And the whole thing was amazing because I've had 2 very good relationships and that made me happy. And they're very different type of relationships. Mine and I were kind of a activist team, a movement. We were very involved with the movement. And we were kind of seen that way as a team and working toward, lesbian rights. But there's another side of me that's more on the artistic end, and Jenny's an artist. So that really attracted me. She's a retired librarian, but her primary interest is as an artist. And she's and I love that. I love being around artists. And I like to write, creative writing. So, and I appreciate art. I had 2 architects in the family, and, it all gets it's all integrated now, all my interests.
That's nice.
Yeah.
How long have you been with Jenny?
I think since 2017. Well, we got married in 2017.
I see.
Yeah, in October 1st, 2017. But we've been together. Well, she was in China when I was writing her. I was talking to her on Facebook, and I said, "Would you like to go out for coffee?"
She said, "I'm in China."
And she said, "I'm in China." And I almost fell off my chair.
Said, "Give me a
I
couple
said, "Well, that's a little difficult. That's going to be a little difficult." And she was there teaching English and art, but she said, "I'm coming back to do jury duty." And
Really?
I said, "Well, why don't you stay here? Come," and she did. She came and stayed with me, and she was here like 10 days, something like that, and then had to go back. And I can't remember exactly, but I did go back with her. I don't remember if it was that time or another time, but I said, she said, "I want you to come to China." And I said, "Well, can I come with you?" Because I was a little afraid of not knowing the language, and so, or anything. And, China's a little bit formidable. So, and it is a police state, so I mean, I spent a lot of time in their police station. You have to check in regularly. She does, and I had to at least once. But anyway, we had a great time there, and it was like a honeymoon, not a honeymoon, but we were like a courtship thing going on. Yeah, and I was learning, all about. Well, she lived in an interesting city, middle-sized city that only had 10 million people. It's considered middle.
So then how many trips did you make to China before you came to the United States?
No, just one.
Just one?
And she came to me. I said, "Well, do you want to?" Well, she came just to visit, and then she went back and packed up and moved here. Packed her stuff and came here.
Are you in Long Beach?
Yeah, I'm in Long Beach near Lakewood.
So do you know Greg Williams?
Yes.
Yes. Greg.
Well, I taught it. Yeah, of course I knew him as a colleague when I taught there. Yes, and both being, he's like a brother, a gay brother, and I was kind of, there aren't that many. It's not a real gay place, and so I started the first faculty and staff lesbian LGBT lesbian and gay faculty and staff association at Dominguez, and he was part of that too. So I got to know him, and I mean I started the first gay student union there too, but then at a certain point I felt the staff and the faculty needed the same thing. And so, I networked, I got to know people that way, and Greg was part of that.
Right. Well, he's part of this archives. We're archives.
Oh, I know. I mean, that's how I know him, through the archives. Yeah.
It's been wonderful because we didn't know anything about archives.
It's named after my former president, Girth, Don Girth. I knew him pretty well too. Yeah. He was I used to put on gay conferences. My specialty area was LGBT aging. And I pioneered that area with mine. We started the National Association for Lesbian and Gay Gerontologists. And at some point, we kind of started the springboard, I guess you would say, for an organization that I'm still very involved in called Old Lesbians Organizing for Change, OLOC. I don't know if you've probably heard of it. And that took up a lot. I mean, in the early years, we were, more a part of like the gay centers, and we started out at the Gay Women's Service Center in Echo Park. Actually, I did my Ph.D. dissertation based on work we did, basically a rap group that we held for 10 weeks and then another 10 weeks. But anyway, I taped those rap groups and analyzed the conversations, and that was my dissertation. And recently I published it. After 50 years, I actually made it into a book. Or Jenny owned a publishing company at one time, so she really helped me do that, and to turn it into a book form that you could get, at Amazon, through Amazon or any other bookstore, a bookstore system. And and a lot of people have been reading it lately. I get a lot of feedback.
That's who you
It was the first, I think it was one of the first research projects on coming out. The title was Coming Out, The Emergence of the Movement Lesbian. And it was based on these conversations we had with each other very early in the gay liberation movement in Los Angeles.
I'd like to read that.
And so I feel proud to have produced that. And it never really got the recognition it needed, but I'm not very good at that.
Oh,
But now, now in retrospect, I think I'm getting, a little more. I got the recognition in the area of the LGBT aging. I'm referenced a lot in that area, but not too many people know that I did research on coming out. That's, so finally I'm, getting recognized. At least I'm recognizing myself for that.
right.
Right.
I'd like to put a link to your book we can link that's to your video here.
Okay.
So if you give me the information, you'll see how the links are done. So many lesbians have written a book, something I have never done. And I'm not,
right.
But I would like
Right.
to write a book. And I'm sure others would be interested too. So what's your most interesting adventure to date?
Yeah, going to China was definitely an adventure. But this is going to sound really weird, but I think one of my greatest adventures had nothing to do with the gay movement. That had become kind of routine in my life. But one time, Mina and I went to a meeting at a Jewish community center, and there was a straight rabbi was there, a kind of a radical type Rabbi Chaim Biliak, and he was talking about this temple that he was in charge of. I mean, he was the main rabbi of this temple. I think it was located in Norwalk, and he was encouraging gay people to join up, and Jewish gay people, and come to some, and also he was talking about an organization that he belonged to and supported, the coalition in support of Hawaiian Gardens and Jerusalem. I know that sounds really
right.
Hawaiian Gardens is right near where I live. It's 3 miles from here.
Right.
And it's a very Latino kind of gang infested area that was controlled by this Jewish guy named Moskowitz, who was an ardent Zionist. Irving Moskowitz was his name, and he sent money to the right-wing reactionaries in Israel. He was a very ardent, intense, passionate supporter of a militant Israel. Now, this rabbi and a lot of us are on the other side of the equation. I mean, we're peace-loving people who want peace with Palestine. And he had a really bad reputation. And Chaim explained to us what he was trying. And Moskowitz he owned a casino that he had, and a bingo parlor in Hawaiian Gardens. And he kind of ran, it's like, I think the city's 1 square mile, and he kind of owned it. I mean, and he had this lawyer, I forget his name right now, but he lived in Florida, and this lawyer he had would go to city council meetings and make sure everything was kept under, Moskowitz's control. And so we joined with the group, and the former mayor of Hawaiian Gardens, who was a fiery Latina, and a bunch of other people, and we just kept fighting. We got very involved, and it kept getting bigger and bigger, our movement against. We were trying to get rid of his license to run this bingo parlor because he was first of all, he was doing this immoral stuff with it. And he had all the politicians, Democrats, under his control. I mean, we're Democrats, but they didn't know any better. I had these visions of walking into Jerusalem with a flag or something, or on a high horse, and victorious that we had achieved the end of the enemies of what we wanted, a peaceful Israel, but it didn't happen.
So were you able to actually carry on your own occupation while you were involved in this?
Oh, yeah.
Sounds very consistent.
Yeah, I think it was summer. Yeah.
You're on break anyway.
No, I did the movement, and I integrated the movement activities with my academic life pretty easily, because everything I published had to do with lesbians or gay, the gay movement, or how to do research, on a gay population, that kind of thing. I mean, I kept my job, and I did end up a full professor.
That's great.
There were problems. There were firings at Cal State Long Beach that could have spilled over to us, but luckily it didn't. Yeah.
You like being out there as an activist? That's one of your passions?
I did, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I was out. I came out on my campus in 71. So that's a long time ago. Yeah, I was very out.
And you made
and then later, not too much later, I started doing the research.
So in your research, have you ever researched all the laws that have changed or been instituted because of homosexuality? The dates?
Well, I never did formal research, but I certainly referenced the legal changes. Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons I asked that is some of the women we've interviewed would have lost licenses. They had to not come out as lesbians when they were interviewed for their jobs in universities, for example, because they had to deny their sexuality because they wanted a job.
Right. I knew women who did that. Yeah. Well, I was never asked what my, I was asked to sign a loyalty oath, which I didn't want to do, but I had to do it to keep the job. But I didn't, but it had nothing to do with gayness. There were people on campus who didn't like the idea, who weren't, mostly closet cases. The most people who were the most adamant against me were gay people who were very in the closet. They warned me not to come out. I was warned by several gay people.
Really?
Not to come out.
Because what could happen? What would be the consequence?
I don't know. It made them uncomfortable.
They wanted to be comfortable.
I didn't even know some of them were gay. That was the funny part. Was some of them assumed I knew, and I didn't know. They were older than me. I didn't know they were gay, but they were kind of like an older sister or brother saying, Sharon, you better not do that, or continue to do that or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I had a dean who was very closeted lesbian. And it messed up her life, but I don't know. She was more likely to fire me than the straight people.
Several women have encountered that dean, not the same one, but that situation.
You've heard that story before, yeah.
And it's in the dean level, and it's a woman.
It was a woman.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you've heard of that? Something similar, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
About 4 times now.
Oh.
Yeah. And I've had my own experiences also, because they're so closeted and playing that game, which is very deadly, I think. But, So they're very.
Could you talk a little loud? Can you speak a little?
Yeah, they're closeted. They're angry of your being gregarious and being out and being proud of who you were. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, just doing your job. You didn't
Yeah.
ask.
Early on, I met some gay women. I went to the University of Southern California and to the Summer Institute of Gerontology a couple summers in a row. And I met a closeted gay woman who brought me up to San Francisco. She had a wife up there, and they always went places with gay men. And one time I showed them a match, what do you call it? The mat thing that holds the matches. Not a box, but the paper thing. Yeah, and it said Gay Women's Service Center on it. And that ended our relationship.
Really?
Yeah.
Strange.
She didn't like that. She didn't like that I was carrying a box of matches that had the word gay on it.
What year was that?
It was in the late 60s, 68, something like that. I think being Jewish was part of it because I'd already dealt with being Jewish, and I was sort of out of the closet as a Jewish person. So it wasn't that big a struggle to come out as a gay person. They were both stigmatizing when I was, growing up in the 40s. So, I learned how to cope, and I'm not sure which was, I mean, not all Jewish people are pro-gay, I'll tell you that much. But
was there ever a time when you wished that you had not disclosed that about your sexuality?
Was there a time when I was sorry?
Yeah.
Well, when I was at Hiram, I lost a job as a camp counselor. I wanted to be a camp counselor. And one of the deans called me in and said, I don't know if he was dean of students or not, but I think he was the academic dean. But he said he wouldn't give me a letter of recommendation because, he knew I was gay. And I said, oh, I'm not gay. I'm engaged. I have a boyfriend.
You said that?
And I lied. Mm-hmm. But it didn't make any difference. I didn't get that job. Huh. I had been a camp counselor, though, at an earlier point. But somehow I did get a camp counseling job, but not due to his help. Yeah.
My partner, Marge, who you probably meet someday, is a surgeon, orthopedic surgeon, and she's a basketball player. She did this in her youth. And so when she moved, she offered to be help the coach in Santa Maria, who we thought was probably gay, but anyway, to help her out. And her therapist, Marge's therapist, said, "Oh no, Marge, think of the girls." I mean, all that. I mean,
oh,
the implication.
Yeah, that's what they were saying about me. Yeah, that's what this dean, he thought that I was going to do something with the kids,
Yeah, I mean, please.
Yeah, they had these old-fashioned ideas. Well, when I came out with my father, he associated gay people with murderers.
Really? Huh.
He said, well, aren't they murderers or something? What do they really do? He said, what do you do in bed? He said.
Really?
Or how do you, yeah.
Wow. Were you surprised at that question? Your father?
I thought it was weird.
Yeah.
But.
What was your overall relationship?
As bad. He wasn't as emotional as my mother, but that she was probably very upset because he probably blamed her or something. I don't know. I'm sure it didn't help their relationship, which was pretty crazy anyway,
I would imagine.
But they were both old timer. I mean, they were, like immigrants. They were born in this country, but they weren't very Americanized in a way. So their ideas were kind of old fashioned, moralistic, in a simplistic way, kind of.
Did you like your father?
Did I like him?
Yeah.
He was kind of violent when he was younger.
Really?
And that was not pleasant. He would break things when he got mad. He was overworked, but once they got into their own business, he mellowed, and they became much more pleasant to deal with. And men seem to get more gentle as they age. I've discovered that. My father did. And I was just reading
testosterone.
Something happens to them, and he became I always liked him. I had he was a very hardworking, loyal, pretty bright guy.
Did my internship at the Gay Community Services Center before the word lesbian was even incorporated in the name. So that was
at the Gay Community GCSC. That's where mine and I worked there too, and we were there too.
This was on Highland. It was like a house.
Oh, I used to go there.
Did you?
I remember that. And you remember Morris?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we
Uncle Hefner.
Yeah, lesbian wasn't in the name of it at that time.
We made them think.
Right. Good for you.
Well, we were at the Gay Women's Service Center in Echo Park and on Sunset Boulevard, and I forget the cross street, Highland or something. I don't know. It was before you go down toward this downtown, and that was pretty active. And then we started when Gay Community Services, well, to be honest with you, they shut us down basically because they used to have rap groups on the same night as we would, and we lost business. And Morris came over and asked us to come over there, and Mina became vice president of the board at the Gay Center on Highland, and I was in charge of the consciousness raising groups that we did, and kind of developing programs that had to do with conversation and encounter group. I didn't do encounter groups, but what I did had to do more with rapping and discussions, although today the word rap means something different, so I hesitate to use it. It's not real rap, it's not music. Yeah,
no, it's not.
Yeah.
So have you been involved with the one on McCadden Place?
We were involved with helping them get the women's programs going. There were other people there, Deline, I can't think of her last name, the Vilchek or something, and there was a Susan, and there was and then there was the woman that started the human potential movement at UCLA. Betty Berzon was in the background. I mean, she was a mover shaker in the background. Yeah. Yeah.
Lori Jean has supported this project she's referred to us.
I know her too.
She's on her way.
She's done an amazing job. I've been on that campus, and it's gorgeous. It's quite amazing, all the buildings.
What's your favorite fairy tale?
Fairy tale. Oh my God. Uh, God, I don't. Let's see. Hans Brinker and the Silver Skates.
Are you a skater?
But I can't remember the story really. I remember enjoying that at one point. I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's what comes to mind. I like, yeah.
I skate?
No, I never. Oh, I'm terrible at skating. I have weak ankles.
I
I was athletic though. I used to love anything had to do with a ball, tennis, baseball, anything that had to do with catching and throwing. Mm-hmm. I like. Yeah. Still do it. Badminton. Oh, my best sport is ping pong.
Really?
Yeah. Because I've been doing it since I was 5 years old. My cousin taught me how to play ping pong at 5.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Impressive. Your athletic prowess was already showing through.
Yeah, I remember we used to play girls basketball, but it's different. It's changed today. They use the whole court now, and they guard each other the way we didn't do in those days. I don't like that where they get right up in your face and don't let you move. I mean, we didn't, I don't know. We just threw the basket and they didn't teach us how to be that aggressive.
No.
It's a pretty aggressive. Basketball can be more assertive than I ever knew anything about it.
How about volleyball? Did you play volleyball?
Yeah, I played volleyball. It hurts your palms. It hurts your palms. So I didn't like that part, but I was good at it.
And soccer?
No, I don't know much. No, because I'm not good with my feet.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
And soccer, I think.
No, I don't know how to play it. Kids play it, you know.
Yeah, but it's growing.
Or under 40. If you're under 40, you know how to.
You're a kid.
Yeah.
So, in closing, if you knew that you were going to die soon, how would you like to be remembered?
Well, I guess as a person who saw problems and liked to fix them, try to fix them and change the world. Would like to be remembered as someone who really did make changes. Actually, Mina and I were written up once as there was a whole thing that came out of, I think it's called Pink News, out of London. And we were described as a couple who changed the world.
Really? How great.
Yeah, there were like 10 couples who changed the world, and we were one of the 10 or 5. I don't remember how many, but so I wouldn't mind that kind of but I'm not big on, I have a friend that's very concerned about archive, or being in the archives, and I don't really feel, I guess I'm more into what I'm doing in the present, and that I'm not that concerned about legacy for some reason. Legacy is not it's just not my issue. I mean, I know I did good, and I can be proud of that, and I know, but I'm not obsessed with it. It's like not a huge focus of my life. And I know people who's, my lover was very prominent, more so than me, as an activist. She was well known. And I could have become the kind of widow that just promoted her and just made sure her name, which I do. I mean, I try to, but I'm not living in the past. I keep trying to figure out little ways I can still help people without necessarily, COVID has made me very, how should I put it? Like closeted. I mean, it made me,
started this
it's
project.
closeted me in an odd way, and I'm out. I'm very out, but I'm kind of reclusive. I don't go, I'm not anxious to get out in the world. It's another way to be. I'm not negating the other side, but I am 81. I don't have the same intensity to always be going somewhere. I think I do sometimes. I think I should be going somewhere. But then when I really think about it, you're okay, as you are, I'm kind of accepting my, being home. And it's beautiful here. And Jenny made a gorgeous garden. Well, I mean, we have gardens everywhere around this house. Outside, I mean, she's created great place to live.
So is she going to sign up for
beauty? I see beauty everywhere. So where do I need to go?
Maybe not to go, but what to do.
I mean, we'll get out of here. We went to Ojai
a
couple months ago. And that was fun. But also we have an aging dog. I hate to leave her with all her health problems. So
is Jenny going to sign up for an interview with us?
She did. She's having an interview on the 11th.
Good. So we'll see her garden.
And you have to be prepared for her because she's had like 30 different jobs.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay. Bye, Diane. Bye-bye.